Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A man who died at the Near Star zinc smelter yesterday has been described as a popular and highly experienced worker. There are still no answers over what claimed the life of Michael Lewis Petterwood.
One by one, emergency services leave the Near Star smelter. Behind them, an unclear tragedy. Today, unions were only certain about one thing.
What we know is that the deceased worker worked for the company for 32 years, was well respected and well liked by his workmates.
Risdon Vale Fire Brigade said Michael Petterwood was known for his passion as a volunteer, the kind of man able to assist anytime, anywhere. It's not yet known how the 59-year-old died. The company has released a short statement confirming an investigation with WorkSafe and police and offering counselling to employees affected by the incident.
The authorities are investigating it and will report in due course. Anything that can be will be explored.
The Australian Workers' Union has previously raised safety concerns over the Lutana site. Today, those issues were put to the side.
There have been a number of safety concerns which we have raised, but we do not know whether those concerns are related to this fatality or not.
A report will be prepared for the coroner. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A man who escaped police in the northwest on Monday has been arrested. Braden William Stanley was wanted after walking out of the Burnie police station and failing to appear in court. The 26-year-old was taken back into custody late today in Devonport. The Irish town man is now assisting police with their inquiries. A Ravenswood man is in custody following an alleged knife-point robbery in Mowbray on Tuesday morning. Police say several people entered the broken car and truck collections property at around 3 a.m. It's alleged they threatened a 28-year-old man and stole a Toyota Hilux. Today, Kyan Broadby faced the Launceston Magistrates Court on charges of aggravated armed robbery and burglary. He did not enter a plea and was remanded to reappear on Monday. Tasmania's police service has been bolstered with 18 new constables welcomed into the ranks today. But the additions come as police response times continue to rise. The Commissioner is reviewing the increase but says the new data is incomparable to previous years.
Stepping into the line of duty, a ceremony marking the graduation of 18 new constables from the Police Academy.
We're certainly looking forward to getting those police officers out on the streets to help keep the community safe.
Half of the graduating class will be posted to Launceston, an area the Police Association says is in need of bolstering.
So there's 9 of us heading up north, which is exciting, a couple of us to a shift, so it'll be nice to have a few familiar faces around the station.
And we're just so pleased, our members, to see them going to northern and western districts where we've argued for a long time that the numbers are inadequate.
But as the graduates celebrate, the latest police data suggests they're facing a challenge, showing increasing response times across the state over the last year. The Police Commissioner says it could be due to the way a new computer dispatch system collects data.
Response times are important to Tasmania Police to make sure that we are responding in a timely manner. So we are reviewing them, but my information is we're certainly comparable where we have been in the past.
The main focus will always be to have police on the beat at first response police stations, in the regions and in rural stations around the state.
The Police Association is confident that this will help ease the pressure on first responders.
When you increase the numbers on the front line, it gives them increased capacity, increased discretionary time, so that when something happens, they can respond immediately.
The next trainee course is due to graduate in March. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
The coroner has recommended 2 Tasmanian men be formally recognised for their bravery after their role in saving the lives of 2 fishermen at a fatal boating incident at Marion Bay. The men put their own lives at risk to save the lives of others in exceptionally dangerous conditions in June last year.
More than a year on, memories of this fateful scene at Marion Bay are strong. One man lost his life, but 2 were saved thanks to the bravery of surfers out that day, now officially recognised in a coroner report.
It's hugely humbling to have that put in writing.
Special feeling knowing that, that if we weren't there, that maybe they wouldn't be here.
The situation unfolded. 3 men had embarked on a fishing trip in conditions which had become rough and unpredictable. Their boat capsized. Surfers arrived on a jet ski and rescued 2 of the friends.
Part of unwritten laws to do with the ocean is that no matter who's in trouble, you assist to the best of your ability and you do whatever you can to get those people home.
In the search for the 3rd man, they dived under the capsized boat numerous times, despite extreme personal risk. Sadly, despite their frantic, calculated efforts, the 3rd man couldn't be found.
It was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I sort of went into a survival kind of mode, like the adrenaline sort of kicked in and I was just really scared, to actually get under the boat and try and potentially find someone.
On the ocean, when you do something and you're in a rescue situation, you have to give it everything you've got because you've only got one chance.
The man's body was later recovered by authorities. The coronial report also outlined the importance of keeping inflatable life jackets maintained, echoed by those involved that day. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
A clash over climate change has spilled into Parliament, leading to a furious Greens leader being kicked out for the entire day. The issue has also exposed a rift within Labor, with one branch taking to social media to hit out at its own party stance.
A crowd of thousands striking for climate action last week. Spilling into Parliament. Last night, Labor and the government voted against a motion to support the climate strikes, but did acknowledge its importance. It's left the Greens at boiling point, today reprimanding almost the entire Parliament for the vote, including the Speaker.
We censure every member of this place, Madam Speaker, and that includes you.
Oh, all right, you may now leave the chamber for being offensive yet again. You haven't apologised and out you go.
The debate was never allowed. The Greens outvoted by every member.
We're striking the right approach. We're listening to the views of people, including those who've attended rallies.
Tasmanians want action on the issues that are important to them, and of course climate change is one of those important issues. But they want action, they want meaningful debate, they don't want parliamentary stunts.
Every single Liberal and Labor member of Tasmania's Parliament voted not to support young people. Well, as Greta Thunberg would say, how dare they, and shame on them.
Labor's stance has caused a rift in its own ranks. The Glenorchy branch publicly questioning why last night's motion wasn't supported, saying good look for Labor, not. And seemingly linking it to Rebecca White's attempts to distance the party from the Greens. The social media post was quickly removed. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The Queen has approved an extended term for her representative in Tasmania. The Premier confirming Professor Kate Warner will serve as our Governor for an extra year until the end of 2020. The Governor was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in January, but has since been given the all clear.
It's been a wonderful almost 5 years now, and I'm glad to have the cancer thing behind me and to be well again. And Dick and I are very much looking forward to the next 15 months or so.
Now 71 years old, the Governor says this will be her final year in the position and she'll be focusing on her duties at the Peter Underwood Centre for Educational Attainment. Farmers in the state's northeast are set to have greater water certainty in 2020 when construction of the Camden Rivulet Dam is completed. Acting Prime Minister Michael McCormack touched down in Tasmania today to see how the model can be replicated across the nation.
It's damn good news for Tasmanians, with the construction of a key component of the Scottsdale irrigation scheme almost complete.
The Camden Rivulet Dam will provide farms across the northeast with water, giving farmers much-needed peace of mind.
What we give our irrigators is they've got absolute certainty that they've got the water when they want it, when they need it.
The dam will have enough water to fill more than 3,700 Olympic-sized swimming pools and provides a litmus test for other states in future-proofing against drought.
If this model can be replicated throughout the nation, we'll drought-proof our nation. Tasmania is leading the way when it comes to water storage infrastructure.
Traditionally, we've been very short of water on these good red soils, so they've been wasted to a degree.
Water will flow from this dam from February of next year, with the benefits to be felt across northeastern Tasmania.
It's hoped the scheme will increase jobs and farming within the area, with the local economy expected to receive a $14 million injection from the project. But with a booming agricultural industry, the acting Prime Minister is keen to keep foreign ownership at bay. The recent Chinese takeover bid for Tasmanian infant formula producer Bellamy's front and centre.
I'll certainly be looking at it. If I don't think it's in the national interest, well, of course I'll say so.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's electricity connection to the Australian mainland is set to come back online by Monday. Repairs have been underway since a failure in the Victorian side of the Basslink cable last month. It was expected to return to service in mid-October, but that's now been moved forward. An energy analyst estimated the outage could cost Hydro Tasmania up to $50,000 an hour in lost electricity exports. As the countdown to the AFL Grand Final continues, Tasmania's limited number of GWS fans are also preparing for the big day. Today, we caught up with one of the state's biggest supporters ahead of the club's first ever decider.
You may be looking at Tasmania's most fanatical GWS fan.
Hi guys, it's me, Ruby Fox. I've been a member for the Giants since I was 3 years old.
Oh my gosh, is it really you?
Yes, you are so tall and amazing.
And the 10-year-old certainly isn't deterred by the severe lack of fellow Giants supporters in the state.
It's kind of like I'm the lone wolf. I like being called the lone wolf because I just love the Giants.
She is heart and soul, that club. She lives and breathes the Giants, and she is very brave supporting the Giants down here in enemy territory.
And after cheering her boys through a nail-biting preliminary final win against the Pies,
oh my gosh, I was shaking, I was biting my nails, I was nearly screaming.
Ruby Fox is now nervously awaiting the club's inaugural grand final appearance, confident her beloved Giants can secure an historic premiership flag. And she had this message for any fans still undecided who to barrack for on the day.
Just support them because they've been working all the way up for the top and all the way down from the bottom, so they've tried so hard. So I just really hope that they get to the top, like the really top.
She'll be watching Saturday's game at home in New Norfolk with the family, including mum Renee, who just happens to be a Richmond supporter.
My heart says Richmond.
Yeah.
But my heart also has a soft spot for the Giants. So secretly, if they win, I'm not going to be too bummed.
It's your year.
It's our year. For real, I think it's our year.
Come on, Giants! Come on, mate!
Tom Cooper, 7 Tasmania News.
With the backlog of new drivers currently waiting to sit their P's test, a new pilot program has launched to speed up the process. For the first time on Monday, private operators will be able to award drivers' licences, helping to get more people on the road.
This could be one of the last drives Reece takes as an L-plater, the 17-year-old preparing to sit his driving test on Monday.
I've been practicing since, I think, March this year and got me 50 hours up from start of school till now.
He'll be one of the first Tasmanians to have a P's test undertaken by a private operator. In the past, only government agencies could make the assessment.
Because of the wait times in Hobart and being able to broaden the areas and make it quicker for the students to get in, there's been a demand already.
It's hoped the 8 new providers statewide will help clear this significant backlog. Some people waiting up to 5 weeks to be assessed. The program also allowing tests to be undertaken on Saturdays and outside business hours.
We want to fit in with people, and particularly noting that a lot of young people going for their Ps are uni or college students, or they have a job or an apprenticeship. So having that Saturday option is actually extra choice as well.
It makes it very hard for them to be able to do it during the week. Being able to have Saturday assessments will probably fill out very quickly.
The providers will all undergo training to ensure everyone is tested to the same standard. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A solid effort with the bat from George Bailey wasn't enough to see the Tigers avoid their second one-day cup loss in a row overnight. Chasing a mammoth 312-run total against Western Australia, Bailey put on 70 runs off 80 balls, with a captain Jordan Silk contributing 42 to the cause. But the Warriors' attack was able to force a bottom-order collapse to see the Tigers fall short by 102 runs. The side takes on South Australia in Adelaide on Sunday.
Good evening. Hobart was the state's warmest today, reaching a top of 19, 17 across Launceston and Burnie, and Devonport 14. Other centres today, a high of 18 across St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Ouse, Strawn and Liaweenie 15 and 14 at Lowhead. On the close-up, light, low level cloud is seen about the west and central areas. The remainder of the state is mostly sunny. Further out, a mid to high cloud band sits in the Bight and approaches the state from the west with some cold, low level cloud, while the surface trough crosses the far southwest of WA. Tomorrow, a cold front followed by a surface trough is crossing Tasmania during the day, with the high pressure ridge pushing in behind. Northwesterly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, swells up to 3.5 metres in the west and south and up to 1 metre in the north. A gale warning is current for eastern coastal waters from St Helens Point to South East Cape, and for western coastal waters from Low Rocky Point to Sandy Cape for south to southwesterly winds, and a strong wind warning is also current for all remaining coastal waters, all the southeast inshore waters and the southwest and central plateau lakes. Tomorrow's forecast now, a high of 18 with showers developing across Hobart, Huonville and Campania. In the north, windy with showers developing at Launceston and Devonport, Georgetown 16. Burnie and Wynyard tomorrow, windy with showers developing 15 at Strawn, 18 at St Helens and showers developing at Swansea and Port Arthur. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, Saturday showers about the west and far south, fine elsewhere. Sunday showers about the west and south, and Monday light showers about the west and far south, fine elsewhere. Capital cities 24 and sunny in Perth tomorrow, Adelaide partly cloudy and 34 in Darwin. And on to current temperatures, Hobart 15 mostly clear, Launceston 12 and partly cloudy, and Devonport 11 partly cloudy. That's all in weather tonight. Back to you, Jo.
Lovely, thanks so much for that, Jackie. That's all from the team for now. Have a great evening. We'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.